Hi, welcome to Happier Ladies. We're sisters who discuss all things related to work, family, and personal growth.
We draw inspiration from everywhere, especially from you, our listeners, to keep moving forward with joy and laughter in the big adventure that is life.
1 week at a time.
I'm Azizi Williams. I live and work in the LA area. I'm a mom of 2 adult children, and I'm an education professional in the independent school world. I'm here with my sister, Malika Amandi.
That's me. I'm a SoCal native living in Western Massachusetts, a mom of 2 littles, and I work in higher ed. In this episode, we get into our Festival of AI.
But first, Malika, I've been waiting to talk to you about this. Finally, the day has come.
Tell me.
I have been watching Traders, and I am so into it.
Oh my goodness.
I know. It's wild.
I'm excited, and I'm also like, you said you didn't watch reality TV shows like this.
Well,
I
that's
feel
not
like
me
you've said
anymore.
that, but you've changed, obviously.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. What happened was I went to your house and helped you with your baby and fell into Love
Okay.
Island. So that's
Quincy's fault.
the first thing is that it's Quincy's fault because I watched the entire season of Love Island. And I was like, "Oh, there's something here." It's so satisfying to just get lost and immersed into someone else's world.
I
It is so
agree.
satisfying, right? And it's not like I don't think I would like The Housewives because it just goes on and on and on. Like, this has a goal, an
Right,
end goal, and rules and things that shake it up, so I find that exciting, and it's not like Survivor where you're worried they're gonna die, you know?
right.
No
It's
one's gonna die.
yeah,
Like, no one is malnourished, no one is not sleeping, everyone is fine, and I love that. I think that's what makes it work for me, is that they are comfortable even in these challenges, and it's, like, psychologically uncomfortable, but not that uncomfortable,
yeah.
so I'm watching season 4. It's very
Okay.
exciting because I'm watching it as it comes out, so I have to wait a whole week for the next episode to come out. I can't binge it. I didn't realize that going in until
Mhm.
I got to the end of it. I was like, "Wait, where's the next episode?"
Uh-oh.
I know, so that's interesting, that's different,
Are you
and
gonna go back to watch the other 3 seasons?
I actually started with season 3. I didn't even
Okay.
realize season 4 was about to come out, which is great. So I got into season 3 and then just went right into season 4. But what they did for season 4 was they brought back 2 of the, like, main characters from season 3 to do this podcast, which is like a
Mm,
rewatch a little bit, and that is so great. So now I'm like, because
the
immediately
ecosystem.
you wanna talk about it, but you don't have anybody to talk about it with, just like Love Island. So they are right there, Bob the drag queen, Boston Rob, and they are talking about unpacking the episodes of season 4. So that's fantastic. And as I was listening to them, I realized it's kind of like Terrace House. Remember the vibes of
Mm.
Terrace House where the room would comment on what was happening in the house?
I never watched as much as you did. I think I saw 1 or 2 episodes with you, but
That's
I
it?
can imagine it.
Oh, you should try that again.
It
Revisit.
was more your thing.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Anyway, it's, very satisfying to then sit with people who are commenting on the thing that you also
Right.
saw. So I'm gonna just tell you a couple of the reasons why I like it.
Okay.
Okay? I know this is
Okay,
not a whole
Phoebe.
segment, but I've been waiting a
What
long
are
time to
we
talk about
doing?
this, so I have to talk about it now. I'm digging the
Alright.
floor. So, the fashion is amazing. They mix up the housewives, they mix up Survivor, they mix up Big Brother people, and then just other random people, and they all dress up, like, to their
Yeah.
fanciest, and so it's really cool to see the fashion. The castle's amazing. The house or the where they're living is also playing a role in the show. In season 4, Donna Kelsey, do you know who she is?
I don't know who she is.
This is Travis and Jason Kelsey's mom. She was a contestant. And it was like, "Whoa, that is different," and she had some major plot point. I'm not gonna give away spoilers yet, so you have to go
Mm,
see how Donna Kelsey does. It's kind of amazing. And then Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir are also contestants. That's the ice skating duo that commentates all the Olympics. Ah, amazing. So the other thing that's interesting is that you see how wrong people are and how confident they are but
yes.
wrong, and that's fascinating to watch over and over again, like, how much people think they know something, but you don't know the thing. I think
Yes.
that's always an important lesson. I think we can't
It's true.
underestimate
Yes.
how little we actually know about things and how our perception about people is often wrong. Yeah.
Right.
So those are some of the things that I'm loving about
Wow.
traders.
Okay, Azizi, I think you should watch The
Uh,
Circle.
oh, I kind of remember you got into that.
I totally got into it, and it has a lot of these elements. Every season is a little bit
Yeah.
different, so that's also
Yeah.
fun. I'll tell you which season to watch because there's one in particular that's really, like, crazy, but it's this kinda stuff. It's, like, influence and psychology and leadership and perception, and then, like, that's it.
Yeah, but the thing that hooked me was fashion. Is that in there?
I mean, not
Like,
not in this way,
they
no.
are fabulous, and I will say every episode starts with them meeting for breakfast, and they notice who was murdered, and the spread for breakfast, and the smoked salmon, and they're always commenting on how much salmon there is. That's part of the show.
I would say Circle doesn't have a real fashion
Uh,
element, but there is a little bit of an interior design
oh,
edge because each person has their own apartment that is set up for them,
right.
and so they all have some kind of theme, and that I found like a fun side
Okay.
thing, but I think you would
All
like it.
right. Well, after season 4, maybe I'll dip my toe into the circle. And I
Okay.
do still fast forward some things. Some things are just too cringy
Yeah,
or too intense, but mostly it's like the right speed for me.
good. I'm happy for
Thank you.
you.
It's very exciting. Like on Thursday, I was like, oh, a new episode of The Traitors comes out today.
They always tell you there's a catch, a compromise, an asterisk. Terms apply. See store for details. Maybe less than advertised. May vary by mood. Probably. Sprite Zero Sugar? It's different. It's the lemon lime flavored refreshment you want with zero sugar. So, no fast voice? No caveats. Just refreshment. This is Sprite Zero Sugar. Obey your thirst.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. With school out, summer is the perfect time to teach our kids real-world money skills they'll use forever. Greenlight is a debit card and the #1 family finance and safety app used by millions of families, helping kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely. Parents can send their kids money and track their spending and saving, while kids build money confidence and skills in fun ways. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Spotify. That's greenlight.com/Spotify.
And we are back with Festival of, where we go into great detail about a particular subject. And today we are going to share all of our thoughts about AI,
Right.
which we've been talking about this for a while.
We have kind of here and there, and we thought this could be a whole episode. So here we are. And I feel like you're gonna have more to say about this than I do. And just for context, I talk about this often, but you are always ahead of the game with technology, and I'm always following you. Maybe it's our age difference or your husband also is, like on the leading edge. And I love that about you, and I love that for me also. So I'm excited to get some ideas from you in this conversation. There are some things I'm doing as well, but what are you thinking about big picture? Like when we think about AI, Malika, what are you thinking?
Okay. So I just want to give a disclaimer like, I'm not an expert. I don't have any scholarship on this. I haven't read any articles.
Right.
Like,
We're not
this is
doctors.
all just, we're
Please
not doctors
seek
here,
medical
okay?
professional advice if you need
Do
that.
your own medical research. This is just my thoughts, like what I've been thinking about and wanting to talk to you about.
Yeah.
So the biggest picture is like, is this thing accurate? Can we trust it? There's so many times that there's like little hallucinations. It's very confident in what it's telling you,
Right.
but is it right? And I feel like underneath that is like, does it matter? Sometimes it doesn't matter when
Right.
it's a decision tool.
Yeah.
You just need somebody, it's no more or less right than like the general internet,
Right.
right? So sometimes I think it doesn't even matter if it's right or not, if it's helping you move forward in some way.
Right.
But it's important to know it could be wrong, right?
As the adult in that relationship, like you have to know, does accuracy matter here in this context and the way that I'm using it? Because sometimes it very much does. and it is not accurate. I find that it can be 90% accurate, which is great for some things, especially when it's the best thing you've got. It's the best tool you've got in the
Yes.
moment. And then and other times it's not great and it ends up being more work. So I think it's a good question.
Right, and that level, 90% is a little dangerous because
Right.
there's different contexts, I think, where it's easier to tell or not, but
Yeah.
I think the other question is, like, when is it cheating?
Mhm.
Like, there was a time when you couldn't use a calculator for something
Mhm.
in school because
Yeah.
it's like, you gotta figure this out, like,
Yeah.
I don't know how school works anymore. K through 12 is 12.
If you are under 18, yes, it's cheating. We can just answer that question. Is it cheating? Yes. If the intention was that you were going to do the work and you're trying to demonstrate what you know alone in the school context, but
Right,
I think it is like the internet now, and
yeah,
we are very comfortable with Googling something, or we sort of expect that you're going to do that level of research or looking into things as a part of your job. So,
right.
yeah, but it does feel like it inside. I think it still does feel a little bit like I should have done this myself, or am I weak because I'm turning to this tool?
That's, I think, a question too, because I feel like when it comes to research in particular, like, it's a giant shortcut. Let's say it is accurate. What's getting lost from and this is really more in a educational context, like, for your personal life, like, is it important to do a ton of research to figure out where you wanna spend vacation for the price point you have?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that do whatever you wanna do. But, like, I remember, as a student, like, going to the library, going to the stacks, like,
Hmm.
figuring out a bibliography, looking at things with that weird film that looks at old newspapers. Like,
Microfiche.
there was something I think that I gained from, like, having to work for the information that I found. Like, it
Yeah.
gave me a sense of confidence in my own ability to figure things out
Yeah.
that I think that's what gets lost, at least in the educational context.
It's the patience and
Yeah,
the filtering and hitting a dead end resilience that comes from a quest searching for something, that
right,
is gone. And I don't think that AI did that. I think Google did that or the internet, but I
right,
think AI is kind of the nail in the coffin of that search muscle.
right. What are some of your bigger questions?
I think about people who could lose their jobs because of this.
Mhm,
I think a lot about graphic designers, people who
mhm,
deal in that creative space, people who write music, artists who might be displaced by easy, fast kind of solutions. That's something that I
mhm.
think about. Yeah, just whose jobs are going to be eliminated or it's not going to be as easy.
Yeah, I wonder about that too, and that's the way the world goes, like,
Yeah.
every major technical advance has eliminated certain jobs, and then others come up, like,
Yeah. No, it's
a lot of
true.
the jobs that exist that it could threaten didn't even exist.
It reminds me of I don't know if you listened to the episode of T-Boy where they were talking about when elevators became automated. I thought it was so
No.
fascinating. There was a period of time, when elevators had to be run by a human. There had to be, I don't know what they call it, an elevator attendant, and that
Yeah,
was a whole job. That job was unionized, they had
right,
rights, and then when automated elevators came, it was this huge upset. There were strikes and, like, people were upset who held those jobs, and slowly it evolved, right? And we're not
right,
going back,
yeah,
but that's sort of the way of the world. It is the thing that happens. The other thing is that often we don't have the resources, or the average person doesn't have the resources to access that kind of professional support anyway. know?
to access AI, you mean?
No, no, I'm saying the artist, right? You couldn't hire a
Oh,
songwriter to do the job that you want to do. And
right,
so
right,
then this is now available to you. Like for people who don't have the
right.
resources to access that kind of support, it does then unlock and open up options.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we can acknowledge, like, change is upsetting, and it
Yes.
can also be painful in, like, very real financial ways for people and companies, and it's not good necessarily in a small g good way, but it's also, like, there's no going back from where we are.
It just is. It's just
It just
it
is,
just
yeah.
is. It just is. It's not going away.
Yes. So another question I have is like, well, how much does this actually cost from like a resources point of view? Because to use chat or any of the other ones, there's a free model and then there's like a subscription model. But what does it actually cost? Like there was a T-Boy episode talking about, and this was like a thing that went around, don't be polite to the AI, like just the amount of energy it takes to process,
Right?
like
Don't say
say
please or
thank you,
thank you.
cost X number of dollars a year
Right.
for this company. So I'm just curious, like, how do we even quantify what the amount of money and resources that went into giving me this recipe?
Right.
And then what is the environmental impact of all of that energy use?
Yeah.
And again, I don't think there's any scaling back. Like it's out there, it's going to keep getting bigger. But I'm just curious, like, at what point does that cost shift to people?
Oh, it already is. We're gonna reference T-Boy a lot here. There was because that is our source of
We should link.
business news. We should definitely link it. There was a whole segment on people who live close to data centers and the electricity that the data centers are taking are
Yes,
impacting their electricity bills.
exactly.
States are trying to pass policy where the people who run the data centers have to pay for it themselves or create their own energy so it's not on the same grid
Right,
as everyone else. And so now we're getting into nuclear energy sources
right,
and possibly like a data center on the moon. Like all of these things are this is all driving maybe it's driving innovation in energy, but it's
right.
certainly an environmental and financial impact.
Exactly, like, we're at the beginning of that,
Mhm.
but every state hasn't passed a law. Nobody has really taken responsibility for it
Right.
yet.
Yeah.
The capacity for it is, like, it can do something like create a spaceship, let's say,
Mhm.
and most of us are using it to, like, doodle,
Right.
but it's,
Yes.
like, the same amount of resources. That's just so weird.
Yeah. I know, the thing is when you think about it too much, you could just get overwhelmed. It's
Absolutely.
mind-boggling when you think about the scale and the pace of just how fast things are moving, you know?
Something that you mentioned, and I think about too, is, like, what is the cost of not using AI?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
at some point, it will be a liability if you can't use it, and maybe it already is in some ways, like, in the job market, but what are you thinking about that?
I'm thinking about people who are using it and using it well are more efficient and
Mhm.
able to do more with less. So are you spending more money when you could be doing the same things for free? There's, like,
Right,
personal implications and then financial implications for your company.
right.
And we're starting to hear about companies who expect that you are going to use it or you're going to work with what's available through AI first before, pursuing other options. So I think just in terms of your professional growth, not to mention, maybe there's no impact personally. You can be analog personally, and that's not an issue, but there's going to be very few industries or careers where you're going to be just compared whether you want to or not with someone who knows how to use it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I guess I wonder the personal shift, like, I mean, the internet became a necessity at work and
Right.
at home
Yes.
and in our lifetimes, right?
Yes.
Will AI be a similar thing where right now AI is kind of being infused everywhere, but is it gonna be like having access to it, is it gonna be seen as like a basic need
Mm,
in the way that the internet is
mhm,
now, you know?
mhm. Like a utility.
Exactly,
Mhm,
especially once the shoe really drops around the cost of it, because right now it is kind of available, like, on Facebook or Instagram, like, everywhere there is a chatbot that you
mhm,
could
mhm.
access this, but is it gonna become, like, that premium level at some point? Everybody needs it. I don't know.
I think what will happen here's my hot take.
Yes.
Someone who's not a professional. I think they're gonna pay for it through ads.
Right.
and that's a cost, right? Like,
Yes.
just like Google, that's what happened. It's not making money now as a business, and so there will be trade-offs, like, you have to watch this thing or that will happen, and that's not good. It's not good for us. Let's take a break, and when we get back, we'll dig into how AI is showing up in education, our thoughts from our perspectives.
We are back with our Festival of AI.
So we both work in education, and there are kind of unique implications for education and AI. And in particular, at K-12 education, what I'm hearing about, just what you talked about, like the impact to students, their ability to think critically on their own, their ability to be persistent, have resilience, their ability to fail, their ability to do the work,
Mhm.
is something that teachers are worried about. And I am starting to hear teachers being coached, particularly in the
Right.
upper school, to use it in class, right? To thoughtfully, mindfully teach students how to engage with it, how to use it. And I
Mhm.
have been obsessed with 2 podcasts. Actually, I'll just talk about one of them. The Ezra Klein podcast was about we have to change the purpose of education. It was a conversation with Ezra and researcher who was talking about AI in schools and the impact that it was going to have on students. And there's strong feelings like lower school, no, not at all. Like, no go. Do not engage AI. Do not have children access it because one thing, it's not
Hmm.
designed for them at all. We're finding out all of these negative implications with phone use and the internet, social media, when
Right.
these tools were not designed for the safety of young children. So don't do that alone. And then they need to hone the skills of how to talk to each other
Yeah.
and have patience, and they need to learn in relationships. So that's important. We also need to teach them the impact that AI and technology has on them physically and mentally so that they are prepared to deal with this thing that is gonna be part of their lives now moving forward.
Mm.
So, those are some of the things, and Peter Attia had a conversation with someone who founded schools called Alpha Schools, and it's a series of schools that use AI to provide individualized instruction, and the students engage for a few hours a day with their AI tool, which in real
Mm.
time corrects lessons and gives them the right scaled next lesson. And so his argument was that this actually accomplishes in 2 hours what it
Mm.
takes 8 hours or 6 hours to do. And then you can do all these other great things. But I had questions. I had questions around
Mm.
motivation, like he was using tactics like paying kids to stay on it because kids
Yeah,
don't want to be
interesting.
on a computer for that long doing those kind of repetitive things, and I was not
Huh.
sold 100%, but I also see the case for I'm talking too much, but I will just say this last thing. In teaching, there's a challenge with differentiation and how do you provide the right level of instruction and lessons for all of the kids who might be at, 15 different levels, and differentiation is a
Yeah.
challenge in teaching, and so you can see how this would be really attractive, these tools. But mostly right now, the focus is on how do we make teachers' jobs easier? How do we teach teachers how to use these tools so that it's easier for them? What about you, Malika? I've been thinking I'm
Hmm.
thinking a lot about this specifically.
Yes, those are all good questions.
Right.
I mean, I feel like in a unique position because I work in higher ed, but my focus is career advising. So things that would apply to coursework do not necessarily apply to getting a job, right? And there's a different set of skills and also just different things matter when you're in a job application process. So people use AI to write a cover letter. Is that cheating? Yeah, kind of, but also if you get that job, maybe not. because you used the things that you had and you got the job. And like when you're in the job, you're going to have to do the job. And if they're telling you to use AI to do your job, well, awesome. You, you know how to do that.
Right, and that AI is not creating the experience that they are writing in their resume. I'm assuming it's just they're using it to format and to
I mean, it could. Depends how well they're using it, right? And what their prompts are.
right, but what I'm saying is, like, what goes on your resume is your experience, right? And why you are good for the job, and AI can't make that up. It can write it for you well, so that you sound better, but it can't make up that you went to this school and you have this degree and you majored in this thing.
Right. There's certain things that are going to have to be real, right? Or
Yes,
verified
like, you should not
at some
lie on
point.
your resume, but
Don't do,
you
yes,
could
that's
use the
always going to
AI
be
to
true.
write it, but you shouldn't lie on it. That's gonna always
Right.
be true.
I think my pet peeve is when students use AI to write their resume or their cover letter and it's still bad. Like
That's the
there's
90% rule.
there's no
Like
excuse for that. Like you should have reread it or proofread it, like this doesn't quite make sense or this actually isn't saying anything about you.
yeah,
So I think people need to learn how to use it well if they're going to use it because a bad cover letter is a bad cover letter. It doesn't matter.
but that's the thing. It's like, it's gets you 90% there. It's not gonna get you all the way there. You still need to do
Absolutely.
things. You still have to finish it. You still have to polish it. You have to confirm that it's accurate. I agree with you. When you get something turned into you that is so obviously AI generated and they did not
Yeah.
disclose that or talk about it, that is a bit of a pet peeve for me too.
To your point earlier, though, I think students are at a huge disadvantage if they don't feel confident using AI entering the job market now. And
Right.
so I want them to experiment with it and to try to use it. If they're using it to help them with their writing, like how can they do that in a way that is actually going to help them and not be something that's embarrassing? And I
Right.
think people who don't have access to that or didn't play around with it to figure it out are at a disadvantage. And like the job market in particular is an environment that's not fair. So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I think what's hard is culturally and on the kind of, I'll say, administration side of things, there is a hesitancy among some people to see AI as legitimate. I think that's changing in the past year. That's totally shifted, but there's a lot of fear about how it's being used in the job search and maybe I should fear is too strong of a word. I guess uncertainty. It's the
What are you
big
saying,
big
Malika?
change, fear of change. Things have always been done a certain way and they're changing.
Right.
And on the hiring side, AI is being used to read people's resumes. So it's like if the resume is written by
Right.
AI and then the AI is reading the resume, like where is there a human
Right.
connection actually happening? Which I think is also
Yeah.
important to just emphasize like those, interviewing skills or those real-time things. Companies are eventually going to find more ways to really vet people in a human way. And they're already having to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some of the stories we've heard on T-Boy of like people pretending to be, different people are working for like 8 different companies at the same time remotely because everything is done online and they're able to kind of get away with stuff.
I wanna say, like, to your point, use AI or don't use AI, but what you produce and what you show has
Yeah,
to be great,
exactly.
right? No matter
Yeah,
what. You can use the support or you cannot use the support, but you can't use the support to be lazy. You don't wanna show that you can't do the work or you
right,
relied on something. You wanna show that you can do good work in that context of applying for a job, and that's happening. For independent school admissions, for example, there's more things happening in person too,
right.
also because of the worry about AI. So on-demand
Yes.
writing and yes, of course, interviews have always been important. Those kinds of things continue to go on, but are especially important now, which is why in the lower school and just, in education in general, we have to really emphasize relationships and
Mhm.
connection, those human parts of work and of collaboration. All right.
You said you didn't have
This is
anything to
where
say.
I sure did. What happened? I guess I did have a few things. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. I've been thinking about it very narrowly, just in the context of school. So how are we using AI for the podcast, Malika?
So there's probably a lot of applications that we could use that we don't. I guess one way is in our editing process. I use a program that kind of filters the sound and removes
Mm,
background noise. It's funny, there are AI tools that will remove ums,
mhm.
which we do a lot of, but
What are you talking about? We don't do that at all. There's never dogs barking in the back of my sound.
our human editor, Magnus, shout out to Magnus,
Yay,
is
madness.
much better. And when I was editing the podcast
Yeah.
myself, like there was nuance in those and I would edit them out, but it takes a human ear not to cut off the words around it in a way that's kind of stilted. And so
Mm,
that's an example where I felt like, "Ugh, no, it's not ready." There's other podcasts I
mm,
listen to where it's clear that the removal is done in an automated way, and it's
mm.
interesting. It can be a little distracting, but we have used AI to help with our business development and decision making, most recently
Yes.
around should we do a Substack or should we do Patreon? And kind of asking AI, giving it a prompt to act as our like business manager with revenue generation in mind. We've all said we want to break even. That's still true.
Putting it out there. We're putting it out there. Manifesting it.
And with that prompt, we asked, which one would be better for our podcast. And it gave a lot of reasons why Substack would be better. Now, this is the question of like, well, is it accurate? It was compelling enough. Even if it wasn't accurate, we needed something to just push us over one way or the other. Like, I think had we
Yeah.
gone Patreon, it would have been fine, but we
Right.
just were hemming and hawing for a while, and so it was nice to have a laid out argument, like, based on what we were considering, what's trending. And then in the actual setting up of our Substack, just step by step, I would ask chat, "Well, what does this thing do?" Or upload a picture of the settings. What should our settings be? And it would just give me input that way. And like there was a certain point we got to where I needed to interact with the help desk, but it was good to get to the end of what I could figure out on my own and for chat to say, actually, you need somebody from their support to handle this thing. So, and that way, yeah, it's been a great tool, just kind of feeling like you have a partner to help you do something that's brand new.
It was great because every time we had a question, you, because you're trained, would just say, "Oh, let's ask." Let's ask chat. We'd go down a certain path and then hit a roadblock or a fork in the road. Let's ask chat. And it is an example of, we didn't have the resources for a
No.
consultant. We don't have a manager or someone who can sit down with us and say, in my
Right,
experience, this is what you should do. Otherwise, we probably would have done that. But because we didn't have those resources, this was the best support that we had in the moment, and so then we
right.
used it. And I guess in that case, we could have used Google also, but then that's a lot of filtering that you have to do of articles. Yeah,
And that's the main thing.
yeah,
That filtering takes time, and you give up making choices between what sources you're using things from. You don't really get that very much with chat, but oftentimes it doesn't matter.
right. And it does give you sources if you want them. I've noticed that it will tell you
Yes.
where it's pulled from, I
Yeah,
think.
there's some yeah, I've seen that too.
And then have you experimented with Gemini at all or other chatbots besides
Not
GBT?
really. A little bit with the visual one, Sora, but pretty
Right.
much I'm just using ChatGPT. Norm has used the others.
I go back and forth a little bit with Gemini because it's in Google and has access to my files and things like that, so I can
Right.
reference docs.
All right. Well, let us know your deep thoughts about AI. We're very curious.
Oh, and I guess we should say we have a Substack. This
Yes,
that would have been the perfect time to encourage people to go and look
we
at
have a
it.
Substack. You can subscribe at happierladies.substack.com. Azizi, we have so much more to talk about AI. Stay tuned for the rest of this conversation. This was a little bit more philosophical, and the next time we're going to talk practically about our personal use cases because we haven't really discussed them with each other. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we will discuss our peaks and valleys.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
We are back with peaks and valleys because in life, there are always peaks and always valleys. This is an even episode, so Azizi, you are up first with a peak.
I am. And guess what? I have another recommendation. So
All of your peaks are just media.
I know. I just media is making me so happy. What can I say? So the thing that is making me happy right now is the Handsome Pod. So this is a podcast. Actually, they have 2 episodes a week. One is a long one and one is a short one. And it is with May Martin, Tig Notaro, and Fortune Fimster. And they are 3 comedians and they are hilarious. Their banter is so funny. I am laughing out loud, and I
Really?
don't do that on podcasts typically. I mean, there are some, of course, there are podcasts that are funny and I laugh, but it's a different
That's
kind of
fun.
laugh with them. And it's kind of like peak parasocial relationship
Fun.
building because they are so fun, they're funny, they have different perspectives, and they're
Yeah.
comedians. I think that's the difference. They are actual comedians. Their banter and their improv is just so good. So in the last episode, Tig Notaro, who's like got this very dry, slow kind of way about
Yeah.
her. And we've talked about Tig before because we've watched her comedy specials, but she was talking about riding on a Rose Parade float. She was on she was in the Rose Parade because she plays this character in a Star Trek series that's about to come out. And so I guess Star Trek had a float of like celebrating some anniversary. And so she was on it and she was talking about what it was like because it
Oh
poured,
no.
to be in Pasadena on a
Oh
Rose Parade
no.
float in the rain in a poncho. But she talked about how it made her cry because people were so earnestly wishing her a
Oh.
happy new year on the parade route, and, like, how she saw people of all sizes and walks of faith and everyone just in the rain there saying happy new year to each other, so it was a really funny story, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's the Rose Parade!" My 2, like,
That's
worlds
fun.
colliding, so I recommend Handsome Pod if you have not checked it out yet.
Taro is, yeah, so good. I would love to just commute with her every day. That's fun.
It would be a fun commute, exactly, right? Oh,
No,
you
I
mean,
mean,
like, in
as a
person?
podcast, I wouldn't, yeah.
Okay, as a podcast, it's like
I
in
couldn't
person, I
imagine
don't
the
know.
circumstances that we would commute in person, but speaking of the Rose Parade, did you end up helping to decorate a float this year?
I signed up, and as it got closer, started sending emails about what to know about volunteering, and this happened to be I can't remember the name of the float company, there are only, like, 3 of but this float company is out in Irwindale, which is about a half an hour away from where I live, which is fine, it's just off the freeway, but then it said, "You can't drive there, you have to take the shuttle." The shift is from 7:30 to 3. You have to bring
Mm.
your lunch because there's no
Mhm.
place near there to buy food and you don't have a car. You have to bring your own scissors and gloves, and also it's very cold, so expect that you're gonna get dirty, and you can't leave early and if you get there late,
There
there's
was
a
a
fine, like,
fine?
it was a lot, and I said, "I don't maybe this is not my year." It wasn't what I had envisioned. I envisioned, like,
It wasn't
work, of
unreasonable
course, but, like, fun.
hospitality.
Was not, and what I realized also is, like, "Oh, I wanna just go down to the Rose Bowl because I
Right.
live there and I could walk there." And I didn't get together in time to get a slot doing that. So, it quickly, I was like, not this year." I think it still counts because I registered and I was really close to doing it, but then I decided, it's okay."
You don't wanna be fined for being late and
When I
then cold and then eat your bag lunch.
I don't wanna be on a shuttle bus by myself with a bunch of people I don't know, scissors in my pocket, and then stuck there. I That wasn't what I was looking
That's
forward
fair.
to, so I chickened out. What can I say? There's no way around it. I chickened out. That's hard work, and also I give it up to the people who do that. Thank you, because I enjoy the outcome tremendously. I'm such a huge fan. I enjoy it tremendously. This year it poured and I also went out of town, so I wasn't able to be there the day before to see the floats when they bring them out, but I kind of want to put that on my list to do. Like that I really enjoyed last year and I want to do that again.
You know, there might be some elements like this about the Olympics, Azizi,
What do you
if you're gonna
mean?
volunteer for the Olympics. Just saying.
It's yes. With the Olympics, I'm not bringing scissors and getting dirty. I mean, yes, it's gonna be a full-time job. I get the shift is might be grueling. I'm gonna have good tennis shoes, but it's not gonna be
Okay.
that. Speaking of the Olympics, you brought it up, Malika. Yeah, we're going into extra innings. We definitely could do a whole episode about this, but they have a lottery that's going now for people who live in Southern California to get early access when the tickets become available. So I signed up. I told my parents to sign up, my daughter to sign up. You can't sign up, Malika, because you don't live here, but
No.
we're gonna be ready when the lottery comes up. I already checked in with Grayson. He says no thank you. So
He doesn't wanna go.
it's 2 years away, and he's like, "I know. Hard no. Not gonna change my mind. Just wanna be included." So that's fine.
That's
He's
funny.
not going, but I wanna be there. Also, one more thing, I need to see when the opening Olympics the ceremonies are for the Winter Olympics so I can make sure not to miss
Yes.
that. It's always fun to watch.
I would like to watch and debrief
Okay,
that
I'm
with
gonna
you.
find out when it is. Alright, what's our valley, Malika?
So, as we're recording this, we're on the eve of a very big winter storm.
Yes. Do you have enough food?
I think so.
Okay.
It's funny, the valley is not that people keep asking us about it, like our California relatives. The valley is about just snow days
Oh,
and how much it kind of messes up your schedule,
right.
one's childcare schedule, and it's just not what I thought. You know, like, when you imagine a snow day, it's like, "Fun,
Right.
snow
You're picturing
day."
it from the kid's perspective.
In reality, it's just like, oh, like, especially when you have the ability to work remotely,
Right.
I don't wanna get too much into it. There's some rules that we don't work when there's a snow day, and there's some ones that we do, but
Mm.
often my kids' school days do not match my work school days. Like, the weather has to be exactly the same in both of these
And
locations.
it's different.
It's different. Every school district makes their own choice,
Right. I see.
and
And so your work is connected to the school district that your work is in.
yeah, the university I work for, they have their own
I
decision.
see.
They don't go by school
I
district, but
see.
the daycare does. I think this is a big enough storm that everybody's gonna have a snow day if it pans out.
Well, according to the news, Malika, like all
Right.
the schools are closed, all the businesses are closed. Yeah, it's a big deal.
We had no school. Quincy was sick on a day last week, and then it was no school the next day,
Mm.
and then we have 2 days of the weekend,
Yes.
and then Monday's gonna be a snow day. We're, like, getting
The
back
weekend
into the
always
holidays.
happens. That's always gonna be the case. And then Monday, you're gonna not have another day of school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's fine. I think I still do really enjoy this four-season life,
Okay.
and we've gotten more snow this year
Yeah.
than we did last year. I'm not mad at it.
Right.
I think the snow is beautiful. I am just saying it is hard when you are home all day with with your small children.
Parent of young children, I feel for you.
And you can't
Yeah.
even go outside to play, really.
Yeah.
Or you can, but I don't know. Anyway,
You're stuck.
you're stuck
Yes. But do you
until the driveway is plowed or whatever. But it's what it is.
have enough toilet paper, Malika?
Yes, I think we're covered on those bases
Okay.
because it's not that many. I mean, the snow itself, it's going to be like a day and a half,
Hmm.
and then it will not be snowing anymore.
Right. Are you just telling me how snow works?
And then once you clear your driveway, you can go to the store. You can leave your house.
Right.
Maybe I'm naive about this, but I feel like,
I don't know. It's the ice. They're saying the power outage is going to happen after the snow.
right. Well, what can we do?
I don't know. Yeah.
We'll keep you posted.
Oof. This sounds really hard. I'm
I
sorry.
will say I'm not really watching news about it, and I feel pretty good.
Okay.
So I think that's a part of
That's
feeling
your
good about it.
strategy. That's your strategy is to not. I think what you're saying also is you need listeners to give you suggestions about how to handle snow days. I bet there are
Yes.
other people who live there and grew up there, and maybe there are some good ideas that you just don't know because
If you
didn't
have a
grow up there.
3-year-old and a sub 1-year-old, please let me know how. I
How
mean,
to survive.
we know how to do this. Like, it is the weekend more, and also
Right.
just being inside. So it's, I guess, what COVID was for many people,
Right. Yeah. Yep. But
So
you
we
didn't
can
have to
do it.
you didn't live through that. So,
I didn't live through that.
yeah.
And I'm fortunate, Norm is here. We're going to trade off.
You got Kermit?
Hermit's here.
Maybe he can help.
He doesn't help much, but yeah. Anyway, snow days.
All right. Well, good luck. I'll be calling you often from
Okay.
California, making sure everybody's still alive.
We'll be fine.
Okay.
That brings us to the end. Azizi, let's leave on a happier thought. What are you going to try this week?
I have a few other AI things I want to try, and I'll be watching Traders on Thursday. What about you, Malika?
We didn't talk about this in this episode, but you said you wanted to look up the Winter Olympics, and I realized
Yes.
I want to look up when Fashion Week is and put that in my calendar because it's on my
Yes.
26 for 26 list. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything.
Okay, well, Malika, you have to watch the Chanel Subway fashion show, and then I'll watch it and we'll discuss. That
Okay.
already happened.
Okay.
It'll be on YouTube.
Great. Thank you for listening to this episode. You can find our show notes in the episode description. If you like us, please rate, review, and tell a friend, and don't forget to follow us.
Send us a message at happierladies@gmail.com.
Our show was edited by Magnus Bjorgum, and our theme music was created by Wyatt Muncie.
You can find us on Instagram and YouTube at happierladies and at happierladies.substack.com. All right, Malika, have a happier week.
Have a happier week, Azizi. Bye.
Bye. Ugh, hold on. Hey, you have to stop, though. Okay, I trapped him with Grayson.
Okay. Trapped him.
See how long that lasts.
All right, we can go on to the next question.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.